I have a very important message for you because your son tells me that you're so full of anger and you're so hurt because you feel like that woman caused your son his passing.
Yes.
And more importantly, tell my mom this. You're so upset because you told him not to be with that girl.
I did. Over and over and over.
Hi, Jaren. How are you?
Hey, good. How are you, Matt?
Good. And where are you from?
Asheville, North Carolina.
Asheville. Perfect. Well, first of all, I'm so glad that you're here. And right away, I got to tell you, when I was connecting with you, I have your father. So your dad departed?
Yeah,
Because know that one of the things is, oh, is this your mother right here?
that's my mama.
So know that, so this was your husband, miss. So know that he's right there with you because when I was connecting, he was waving me over saying, talk to me, talk to me. And first of all, this is your husband's way of letting you know that he is there and with you tonight. And more importantly, he shows me that on the other side, he's okay. Right away, he's also talking about a child that had passed.
Yeah,
So where was the child that departed? Because he's bringing the child through when I'm connecting with him.
it's my son.
So know that your son is also with your dad on the other side when I'm connecting. Because he said to me, Matt, he goes, you know, my daughter was praying and praying and praying that we were both going to come through together. He says, and that was the only way that she was going to believe that heaven was real. And when I'm connecting with your father, he also tells me you had necklaces that like have your son or your dad on them.
Yeah,
He says to me, Matt, she's hiding the necklaces. So she didn't want to talk about this. He's like, if you talk about the necklaces, she'll know this is real.
they're put up.
So you
I
have them
put
hanging up.
Yeah,
And are they engraved? Because he's showing me like that I keep seeing an engravement done.
yeah.
So when you had those engraved and you have your dad and your son there, know it's his way of acknowledging that when you wear those, when you're missing them and you put that necklace on, that's your dad's way of acknowledging that he's there and with you. And he was telling me in my ear, see, your loved ones rat you out and they tell me everything. And your father goes, Matt, she wouldn't wear them tonight. He's like, because she wanted you to tell her about these necklaces. I'm going to tell you that your father's stepping forward with your son to let you know that he's here.
Yeah,
Because first of all, when I'm connecting with him, your son is acknowledging that he is okay on the other side. And when I'm connecting with him, he shows me he was like an outdoor enthusiast. And right away, when I'm connecting with him, I keep seeing guns in front of me. He's bringing this up when I'm speaking to him. And the first thing that he's telling me before I'm connecting with him is there was a lot of things that you didn't know about his departure.
yeah.
And the first thing that he tells me, okay, is your son is telling me that before he had died, he was going through anxiety and depression here in this world. Do you understand that?
He was.
That's where the guns come in. Because when I'm connecting with him, he shows me that he thought of ending his life. Do you understand that?
They found a gun in his belongings. When they found him, the police said that there were a gun in his belongings.
I see too. I believe it had to be at his house and his belongings because your son's showing me that. And when your loved ones come through to speak to a medium, they tell me the truth and nothing but the truth.
Yeah.
So help me God, I feel like I'm in court. But no, the reason why is because they want to let you know that because your son tells me that after he had died, you were like, oh my God, I feel like I don't even know him. How could he have a gun? I didn't know he had a gun. I didn't know he was going through anxiety. I didn't know he was going through this pain. I didn't know anything.
I worried that he had committed suicide.
Your son tells me that he tried or thought about it multiple times. I will tell you that.
Yeah.
And I will tell you that he's taking responsibility for his passing when I'm connecting with him. But this wasn't a normal suicide when I'm connecting. When I'm connecting with your son, I keep feeling like he was having some type of a PTSD because I'm feeling that when I'm connecting with him.
He was having a hard time.
He said to me, and he keeps talking about a relationship ending. So did he just break up with his wife or his significant other?
Yes, it was a girlfriend that kept messing with his heart.
Well, he shows me that they were supposed to get married and they called it off because I see a wedding ring here. So that means to me that he either bought her a ring, had a ring, he was planning on proposing, whatever happens, he says to me, Matt, he goes, this was called off. He says, and then I passed. But I have a very important message for you because your son tells me that you're so full of anger and you're so hurt because you feel like that woman caused your son his passing.
Yes.
And more importantly, your son also says to me, because your loved ones tell me everything. So your loved one says to me, Matt, your son says to me, Matt, he goes, tell my mom this. You're so upset because you told him not to be with that girl.
I did. Over and over and over.
He says, and more importantly, you're so upset about this because you feel like he made a choice. It was either that he stayed with his family or this girl. Do you understand that? And I gotta tell you something. He says, Matt, He goes, I gotta tell my mom this. He goes, listen, because I'm telling him, wrap it up. And your son's going to me, no, I have to tell her this. I have this message. You have to listen to me. And your son's saying to me, Matt, he goes, this is so devastating for my mom because we were fighting about this girl again and again and again and again and again.
Yeah.
And before your son died, you're so upset because you feel like he chose her, because he tells me he went off with her. They had this relationship with one another. And then it hurt your relationship with your son where you had not heard from him. I'm going to tell you what happened. I know how your son had died. And your son says to me, Matt, he goes, I was in a bad way. He says, the one person I trusted was that girl. And the moment that we broke up, he says, I felt like I lost everybody. He goes, I felt like I lost my family. I felt like I lost my friends. He goes, I felt like such a fool because I really thought that we were going to be together. And I had my life betting on this. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
But I got to tell you something. Your son is taking responsibility for this, and he does not want her to be blamed. And I know that that's not what you want to hear. Listen, he says, I had many. He goes, I was told again and again and again. I was given so much advice to leave this relationship, to get away from this relationship, to get away from this person. He says, she had broken my heart many times. He says, I chose to keep going back. He says, and I chose to turn my back on my family and my friends to trust her. And that's my fault, not hers. He says, I was trying to force a relationship that wasn't there. So your son says to me that he wants to take this opportunity to apologize to you because you were right. He says, but you need to listen to me. He says to me, do not feel that you caused my passing or that you could have prevented my passing. I heard what you said. That's what he's telling me. I heard what you said. I heard those words that you said to me. He says, and I chose not to listen. And that is not your fault. Your son just leaned over and kissed you. He says to me, Mom, he says, if there was one person that I could always rely on, it was you.
Yeah. He always said that.
He says, so I'm sorry. He says, forever making you feel like you came second in my life. He says, but right now, he goes, I want to let you know that you're number one. I watch over you every day. I'm with you every day. I am safe and at peace. And my soul is always with you and by your side.
God bless you, man.
I really hope that this helped you.
It does.